did was I started DBR Music Productions because I wanted to be responsible for my career. And after 4 years of battling it out in New York, I realized that I needed to take responsibility for the business of my career, the business of the performing arts. And my model was Philip Glass and Steve Reich. There was already, you know, anything you want to do, somebody's already done it. There's a model. So I just really started studying those artists, their biographies. I really got into it. And Ani DeFranco, Righteous Babe Records, of artists who were doing their own work, had their own ensembles, and had their own companies behind it. And I started following those models. When I got to New York City, the same thing happened. VLA, Volunteer Lawyers for the Arts. So that's where I went. They offered courses on how do you start a small business. See, I started realizing quickly, very quickly, that even for Beethoven, it was about his relationship with publishers. You know, so there's a tradition in classical music of composers taking full responsibility for the business side of their craft. I was very deficient in that sense, but it was easy in New York City to take classes. VLA, Volunteer Lawyers for the Arts, I think is nationwide.
Yes.
So that's a good place. Oh, there you go. So, but I need to give you shorter answers. I was smart enough. I was smart enough to know that I was never going to have all the skills to really do all the paperwork and to manage my company. So like a lot of business people, I started surrounding myself with great minds, principally Rika. And I said to her, I said, here is your first year of salary. This is what I can give you. It begins and ends with you. If you want to work with, if you and I are going to work together next year, you've got to build enough opportunities for me so that we can continue to work with each other. And that's basically how I did it. I just decided I was going to start DBR Music Productions. I was going to educate myself. You can Google search all this stuff now. You couldn't back then necessarily. And I was going to always have a model and always ask questions and surround myself with great people. To you this way. Did you see the VMAs? I don't know.
Yes.
Right. All right. So, you know, I don't have a salary cap. Right? I don't have to worry about insurance premiums. Right? I have total autonomy and flexibility, like a lot of small business owners. I can make potentially billions of dollars, not just millions, billions of dollars. So, yeah. You know, you have to be careful of cliches and adages and conventional way of thinking. Oh, the starving musician. You know how much I hate that? You know how much I hate that? Yeah, can you imagine? You know, it's like Jay-Z is a musician. Beyonce is a musician. Beethoven, Brahms. Brahms lived in a mansion. Classical music, legacy and history has always involved, it's music for kings and queens and wealthy people, aristocrats, right? So if Mozart had gotten his stuff together, he wouldn't have died poor. You know, and by the way, his music is on pristine paper done with the most, you know, you go to the Library of Congress, I was allowed to actually hold Mozart's A major piano concerto in my hands. Can you imagine they let me do this? Brahms is sealed because he used very cheap paper, very cheap ink. But Brahms died rich. That's terrible. Well, you understand what I'm saying. So this notion of which is terrible. I can extend it. I can extend it. I know a lot of people who went to law school, who went to medical school, who are in debt. Who are in debt. I am not in debt. They are in debt. They can't get jobs. Right now, there's if you think the job market right now does not have all of these opportunities in it, then you are a victim of what is out there in the world. The job market is awesome right now, right? I was never going to be a starving musician. Absolutely, I refuse. See my posture again? I refuse. So I love when, I'm reacting to what you're saying. I love when someone tries to, even as a freshman here, yes, I was afraid, but I was never going to be a starving musician. I would live humbly. I would always live within my means, time management, financial management, right? What I'm saying is you cannot subscribe. It's imagination. It's imagination. You can decide to be rich. You can decide to be middle class. You can decide to be debt-free. But you got to be savvy about it. You got to be sophisticated. You got to do the work. And it's up to you, and you can do it, right? You decide to do it, or somebody else will decide for you, well, if you go into music, you're not going to make a lot of money. Well, Andrew Lloyd Webber is a billionaire. That's my model.